We were all in a foster home. My mother had her own tribulations to be able to fight and get us back. Every business that I've ever started, I never put a single dollar of my personal money into it.
If you want to trade your 9 to 5 for what you love to do, you got to love what you're doing from 5 to 9.
And that's when Kevin and I, we reconnected. History from there. I mean, we took off and we never looked back.
You manage 7 businesses at this point. I'd be a fool to not talk about what are your systems and how do you implement these things, because you're not in 7 places at one time.
Money's everything to a lot of people. But the people that have money, it's not everything. I thought I had life figured out. I had to go live back with mom. Let me just be devoted. Let me sacrifice. If that's the only thing I need to do to be successful, it's just to say no to the things I want to say yes to, then man, I'm gonna go for it, because I don't have all the money in the world. I don't have the highest IQ in the world. I have this understanding, and it sucks to sacrifice, but if I can be cool with it, how far can I take it? I think we're about 150 employees deep. These people are really relying on me to wake up and be me every single day. That pressure's on me every single day, but pressure's a privilege. And I have the privilege to be able to be in this position.
This show exists so you can learn from those who work in silence. By amplifying their voice, they will educate us not on what they do, but how they do. Everything you will see is curated by my business partner, MGB Memory and Nick Angel Films. It would mean the world to me if you would like, subscribe, and hit the notification. That way we could bring the guests that matter to you, and this channel can stay running. Again, my name is Nick Angel, the owner of Nick Angel Films, and this is The Platform.
I believe I could find more happiness with your.
Our next guest is someone who was never known for talent. He was known for work. While others were figuring things out, he was already clocking in. Working as soon as he was allowed to, learning early that consistency could take you places talent alone never could. Showing up every day, stacking effort and building discipline before he ever had direction. That work ethic followed him everywhere. Grocery stores, banks, sales floor. Anywhere effort mattered, he found a way to grow. But eventually, growth demanded more risk, more leadership, more responsibility, not just for himself, but for the people who believed in him. What separates him isn't ambition, it's sacrifice. Being willing to miss the game to cover someone's shift, being early, being present, being the example when it matters the most. That mindset has turned work into systems, systems into teams, and today he's running 7 businesses at the same time. Not through force, but through trust, delegation, and leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Platform, serial entrepreneur, Angel Ramirez.
My man. I mean, Nick, I felt like I was being introduced to the Chicago Bulls in '86, man. What an introduction right there, man. Nick, I appreciate that, man. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me here, man.
No, for sure, man. You know, we got to chat a little bit before we even started this. Like, me and you go way back, right?
Yeah.
For those that don't know, I've known Angel since high school.
Yeah.
Since high school, since high school. So just to be able to say that, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to have you here on this platform, because I've seen you elevate, right? I've seen you reach these levels that I'm like, wow, this guy, he really did that. And then, you know what's even crazier? Then I watch you again and I'm like, he just did it again. And then I'm still watching, because you're my boy, right? I'm still watching like, bro, you did it the 3rd time, right? Now he's did it 4, 5, 6. Goddamn, now we're on number 7. We're on number 7, bro. So it's a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to witness, because I've always seen you hustle since we were young. From the wake up now days to the gym days, right? So I've been able to see all these little things. And the moment I thought of starting this podcast, I was like, I need this guy here to tell his story, because I've seen you fail. And now I'm watching you succeed. And I know in that success, you're still failing.
Oh, yeah.
But you're not giving up, right?
No, not at all.
You're not giving up. And like I said in the intro, the basic concept that drives all these things is how hard you work.
Yeah.
It's how hard you work. So, with that being said, for the people that don't know, I want to take you back to them high school days. I want to start there. I want to start
Yeah,
with my
man, the
boy
good days.
Angel. I want to start with the hustler that's been there since I've seen you in the hallways. So
Yeah.
take me back to the early days where you find yourself, getting your first job, right?
Take a second there because, I haven't been there in a long time, right? And it's nice to kind of be able to reminisce in those like Whitehall days, high school days, just kind of trying to understand the world and understanding myself. And one of the biggest things I could say is when I was in high school, when I was with the boys and, just trying to figure out where I fit in this world, I knew that I wanted to get ahead through hard work. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know who that hard work was going to be devoted to, but I was ready to work and I was ready to learn. And growing up, it was a household of strong individuals. I mean, my mother was the forefront. She was a mother of 4. I was the second oldest. We had a troubled upbringing when I was younger. We were all in a foster home. My mother had her own tribulations to be able to fight and get us back, right? So being able to see that firsthand and seeing her relentlessness, when I was in high school, man, like some people were really enjoying it. I had the impression that I couldn't let someone down at the house that I knew was struggling just to give us the opportunity, right? And my brothers and sisters all felt the same way. So, when I got into high school, that's when I was like, hey, listen, like these are the years that I can get ahead. These are the years that I need to be able to figure out the right people I want to surround myself with to set myself up for the future. And there's going to be a lot of sacrifice. I'm not going to go to, senior break. I'm not going to go to, all these other events and enjoy this, man. I know I'm going to have to put my head down. And high school it felt like just that, man, just putting my head down and getting at it.
Okay. So you from early on, you knew you had a purpose that was bigger than you.
Absolutely.
Right? You felt that. You said you went through a foster home?
Yeah.
How was that? What happened? We don't have to get into detail.
No,
whatever you'd like to
100%.
share.
Yeah. No, my mother was human like everyone else, and she had her struggles, and unfortunately, there was a moment in time where she lost us to the system, and it was tough. It was tough. As far as the not getting to see your brothers and sisters, not understanding what's going on, and you're not an adult. You don't understand really what you're living life for the first time, so you don't know what's normal. You don't know what's not normal, right? You're just going through the process. So there was a time when I was younger where I just I wish things were different, and as I grew up, you wouldn't change anything for the world. And my mother's relentlessness was just. You get it. Mom's 101, Mom carries all the baggage that no one can see. And I think her being able to fight her issues that she had allowed me to be able to say, hey, like, we technically by odds shouldn't be here. So let me find out how far I can push this. Because if this doesn't work, I don't want it to work for the lack of effort. And that's just, that was our upbringing. And we're closer than ever, though. That's the beautiful part about it. We can still sit back and be humble enough to understand where we started from and be fortunate enough to know that we still have that beautiful relationship that we have to this day. So family is everything, and that's really where it started from. And I love those guys. That's home team.
How old were you when that happened?
So 6 years old. It was one of those events where, it was just a regular day, and just, I can remember actually it was, It was actually a minute from here. 1 minute from here. You know where the I think it was the Franklin Theater or something like that. There was theater here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That
We
street.
could walk there.
That street right in front of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I was at. That's where Mom had me, and I just remember the day the children and youth just busted in there, man, and you know it was an event, you know, and it was one of those things where you kind of don't forget where you were at as a kid, you know, and yeah, man, it was a long time ago. Thinking about it, a long time ago, but very fortunate for those events to have happened. It really builds your character. It really does. And who else? Who else would you wish it on, right? Like, you know. So we definitely had an upbringing where it was difficult, but one we wouldn't change.
So that moment happens at such an early age for you, right? Would you say that was a pivotal moment? Because you still remember, you're 6 years old, but things like that you remember,
Yeah.
right? Would you say that was a moment that kind of changed your perspective for you? I mean, you're young, of course, but I
Yeah.
feel like it's so impactful that it had to have some type of effect on you.
Yeah, it does. I think the effect really trickles through as you're growing up. And you kind of keep playing back those moments. And I think that's really where the effect is happening, when you're kind of, you know, you got some friends and you just don't know how to relate to them in a sense. And you're kind of going back to those moments, right? And you're kind of like, you know, you're seeing maybe things in other kids' home that you just can't relate to. Or some events may happen, you know, in another area, like you come and you kind of just reminisce and say, hey, you know, that's not really how I remember things happen when I was growing up. I think that's really where the effect is.
Yeah, because I think as a youngin', whatever you're living, that's your normal.
That's
right?
your normal.
That's your normal,
That's
right?
your normal.
So as you get older, you start to hear all these other things. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
What?
exactly.
Are you weird or am I weird?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I think it's beautiful how you're able to still be the person that you are today, and having gone through those moments in your life, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, just like you said, it's when you look back at them, you realize that those moments shape the character, it shaped the standards that you live by, it shaped the values that you hold now. And for me, bro, that was a thing I seen in you since high school, bro. It might not have been exactly because of that, but bro, you were pushing work on us as young kids at a time where I didn't care about nothing.
Yeah,
I just wanted
yeah.
to play ball, I wanted to chase girls, I wanted to
Yeah.
live my life, and
Yeah.
you're over here like, yo, bro, you want to buy these knives or you want to buy this?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, but I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. It was like, you know, as you're growing up, you're not really good at a lot of things. You know, I tried out for the football team. I'm like, man, I'm not good at this, man. Like, these guys do this like for fun. This ain't for me, dog.
Okay, you still give it a shot.
I gave it
Okay.
a shot, you know. I play video games. I'm coming in second and third place. You know, I'm not the best at anything, man. And you know, I'll never forget it, man. I seen this presentation, and before Wake Up Now, there was something called Stream Energy or Ignite. I don't know if, you know, for the OGs that know what's going on.
I do know exactly
Energy
what you're talking about.
deregulation
Yeah.
is a, you know, it was a big thing back then. And it was as a 17 turning 18-year-old, you know, for someone to tell you that you can, you know, run your own business and be able to pursue your life and pursue these beautiful things through network marketing, that was music to my ears.
Okay.
You know, and then, so, I mean, that was a huge type of change that happened in my life, where I was like, hey, I really want to be able to lead people underneath me. You know, people trust me. You know, I got really good at understanding the presentations. I really got good at understanding the product. And I was like, hold on, I'm good at this. How good could I get at this? I don't know, but I'm not good at anything. Maybe this is something that I can get really good at, and maybe I can shine from it, and maybe my mom can be proud and she can feel like all the sacrifice that she went through. All those thoughts are playing in my head, as I'm getting a little bit older, 16, 17 years old, it almost feels like a big break. Almost feels like I'm going D1, in my own life. And from there, it was just a fire. Once I realized the little taste of success, that was all the confidence that I needed. And that was really my first business, to be honest with you, Nick. That multi-level marketing business was great. Was great for me.
So I think that's very interesting, because when they paint that picture, right, a multi-level marketing, they paint the picture like it's your business, right?
Yes.
That's what they want you to buy into, right?
Yes.
This is your business. It's yours. You're an entrepreneur now.
Yes.
In reality, you're not really an entrepreneur. You are learning the basics on how to talk to people, how to close people, how to sell a product. And you
Right.
can make a great amount of money in it if you dedicate your time to it. But it's not your business, right?
Correct.
At the end of the day, it's not your business.
Correct.
But so that you would say that was your first taste in the kind of the entrepreneurship world?
Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, it was the first time it opened a door for people that were successful, like way more successful than I was. And we were in the same rooms. And it was one of those feelings where, they had some type of belief in the young guy that, oh man, he's coming up. If he does this for a couple more years, imagine where he'll be at when he's my age. And I really believed in that. I really believed, like, all these guys, man, they're tripping somewhere. They're taking pit stops along the way somewhere in their life, Let me just be devoted. Let me sacrifice. If that's the only thing I need to do to be successful, it's just to say no to the things I want to say yes to, then man, I'm going to go for it, because I don't have all the money in the world. I don't have the highest IQ in the world. I have this understanding, and it sucks to sacrifice, but if I can be cool with it, how far can I take it?
I like that.
Yeah.
And it's that mindset that you have not lost. You have not lost that single step in that mindset.
No.
It's dope to see that you found that at such an early age.
Yeah.
16, 17 years old. Like
Yeah.
I said, we weren't all thinking that way.
Yeah.
There was times where I would see you come up to me with something like a wake up now, and I'd be like, yo, what is Angel on? Is Angel on, right? And then I look back at it now, I'm like, yo, he was light years ahead of the game, bro. Right? Now that I'm 33 years old. How old are you now?
32, yeah.
32 years old.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's crazy to think how your mind just grew up faster in the business world, right? It grew up faster, but you're able to elevate this and now take those little things you're picking up with, what was the electric company called?
It was called Ignite.
Ignite.
When I first started, I
Yeah.
believe it transpired to like Stream Energy or something like
Okay.
that.
So then after Stream Energy, what happens?
So,
Because these,
Yeah.
my bad to cut you
Yeah.
off. These are things that, again, they're little taste and glimpses of entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
in a sense of the boat doesn't move unless you're in it,
right.
right?
Right.
So that means if you want to get money, you got to put the work in,
Right.
right?
Right.
Are you still working a 9 to 5 while you're doing this? While
Yes.
you're doing Ignite, are you still working a regular 9 to 5?
Yes.
Okay, walk me
Yes.
through that.
Yeah. So with Ignite, I was working at Redner's.
Wow.
I was working at Redner's. I was breaking child labor laws, getting those hours in, over 40 hours, 50 hours. Shout out to my uncle. He doesn't work for the company no more, so I don't think it really affects him. But this guy was getting me some hours. And it was good. It was good because I needed my own money at the time. But like anyone else, you're seeing other people putting the same amount of hours into something else, and it's just generating so much more. So I balanced it too. I was going to Redner's. I was talking to these guys. I was letting these guys know, hey, man, I got into something extremely interesting. I don't even know. I think I'm getting scammed. Would you come to check it out with me?
You see, but the way you're pitching it, I'm getting interested again. That's the thing about you, bro. Chill out.
Don't you want to be a friend? Don't you want to help me out? Don't you want to see what I'm working with, right? So it was cool because I convinced myself then, hey, listen, I need to keep working. There's a lot of things that I still need to, gas, all that fun stuff. But this is a pipeline of people that I can meet. And, organically, people that I've met through some time, like they trust me. And this is what they call your initial clientele, your initial pool, And so it was really great. I definitely recommend being able to have the two when you're trying to transpire to something that you really love. I think it's that gray area that people really get caught up on, which is, man, like I want to work, but I want to do decor events, or I want to do photography, or I want to do something else, but I don't want to let go of my job because I'm scared. And that is a vital, vital, vital piece, Nick, in the transition between you doing what you're doing to you doing what you want to do.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've heard a long time ago that always stuck out to me was, if you want to trade your 9 to 5 for what you love to do, you got to love what you're doing from 5 to 9. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then eventually that 5 to 9 will be your new 9 to 5.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
You couldn't say it better than that.
And then we jump into the entrepreneurship world and realize our 9 to 5 is now a 24/7.
Yeah.
Right?
What a trap.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think it's amazing that you say that, because I wanted people to know that while you're chasing these other ventures that are getting you excited, giving you a taste of entrepreneurship, like Ignite, like Wake Up Now, you were still working.
Yeah.
You were still working. Most people don't, you understood the concept of, all right, I got this dream that I'm chasing, and I'm starting to like the fact that I can lead people. I'm starting to like the fact that I can convince somebody to buy into something.
Correct.
I'm starting to like these things.
Correct.
But you were also taking care of your bills, right?
Correct.
That's major.
Yeah.
Certain people take Ignite and that's all they got going for themselves, and then it doesn't work out, and then they're like, oh man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you were balancing both at such a young age, putting in the work. That's what I want this whole podcast to really resonate to people. This man has put in work time and time and time over and over again. I think what I really would love to know is, at what point did that work, right? Because you're doing this 9 to 5, right? While still having all these different 5 to 9s. At what point did you find the 5 to 9 that was like, oh, wait a minute. This 5 to 9, I think this is the one that could be my new 9 to 5.
Well, I would say my first business that I started with Mr. Green's, I had been involved in prior businesses or tried with with Ignite, with Wake Up Now. I even had a really cool stint here with Fusion Gyms, with Tony down in Fusion. Shout out to Tony.
What is that for people that don't know? 'Cause
Yeah.
Tony is very successful in his own realm as
Yeah,
well.
so right before I got started with my own business with Mr. Green's, there's an in-between time where I stopped doing Wake Up Now. Okay, I stopped doing Wake Up Now. That went horrible.
What do you mean?
So when Wake Up Now was
hot?
waking up,
Yeah, it was
it
hot?
was up.
Okay.
When it was down, it went horribly bad. And I think I put all my thought and all my energy into Wake Up Now at that moment. So I felt like I let go of a job at Wells Fargo. I was working in Emmaus a little bit right after high school. And I started to make like, Nick, I started to make like $2,000 residually. Like, you know what I mean? And like for me, I was like, $2,000, whether I do anything or not every month. Imagine if I just put my mind, my soul into this energy, into this business here. And the moment I did, I let go of my job. A few months later, the business just went to sham. I was like really depressed. I was going through what I thought was the biggest breakup of my life, and I am down and out. And
Life hit you
oh man,
for
Nick,
the first time too,
Nick,
right?
I mean,
ain't nothing like that first breakup. Ain't nothing like that
man.
first business crashing.
Listen, Nick. I mean, I thought I had life figured out. I'm thinking that, hey, listen, this is really what's gonna happen, and this business is really gonna pop off. And in a matter of a month, the business went down. I got kicked to the curb. I had to go live back with mom. I mean, the only thing good with that was you got some good cooking every day now. But it was horrible. It was horrible, and I say that to say that I'm super grateful for Tony, and shout out to John Suarez and Dan Wynn and all these boys. If you know, you know. These guys took me underneath their wing at a time where I was like down, and they brought me up to what they were doing, which was at the time, it was the hottest thing. So just imagine you going from the New York Jets to the Patriots, you know what I mean? It's really what it felt like as far as comparison to life. And from there, I was able to be extremely close to a CEO. And that was vital. That was vital because hard work met opportunity. And that's all I needed to see. And my life was never the same. So
What was that moment, if you don't mind sharing? Like, what did you see, and who is the CEO?
yeah, so shout out to Tony. Tony Shoutery down there at Fusion Gyms in Philadelphia. He took me underneath his wing around like 2018, 2019. And the guy was just so witty. And I mean, everyone has a story, but his story was one of one, Nick. I mean, if you meet the guy, you know what I'm talking about. And he was 26 years old, 27, Lamborghini, 14,000 square foot mansion in Center Valley, living with the boys in there. I mean, this was like MTV, but in the town. And just the way like he prepared. Like, when you're the best at something, you go to a basketball court, you're better than anyone else. You don't really stretch, you just shoot. Let's just play. I'm better than anyone else. So if I miss, I miss. This guy was addicted to being perfect at what he did with his scripts, perfect at sleeping as less as he can and making sure that he can build something. I mean, this guy was witty. He has no billboards. I'm gonna get U-Haul trucks. They have 3 sides and they're cheaper. And I can move it. I mean, the way this guy was thinking, and I was right in front of him. And when I said he took me in, I mean, this guy really took me in. I was living with this guy. I was living with the boys, and I was chasing the dream all over again.
Why do you feel like he welcomed you in?
Well, I was vulnerable. I was very vulnerable when I met him. When I met this guy, right? I mean, we're talking about, I had a Passat Volkswagen. Dude, he was an hour away. He had his gym in New Britain. So that's like by Doylestown. I didn't even know if my car was gonna make it there, Nick. All right, I was sweating it the whole night before, all right? And I barely had any gas. And I got there. And I showed up, skinny Puerto Rican kid, and I still remember I was wearing these like black dress up pants that were a little bit too big for me, and the shirt was just, a little bit too bigger for me as well too. Skinny dude, railed. I had my notebook, and he just seen something in me. He's like, man, this kid's like, he looks hungry, a little skinny dude, but he's hungry, man. He waited for me for 2 hours here. He didn't leave. And I told him my story. I'm like, dude, I don't even know how I'm gonna get back to my house. But I believe in you. I believe in everything that, you know, you got going on. I was invited to a party like 2 days before, which was his mansion party. I mean, you're talking Lambos, you're talking all this. And the guy just, you know, he was like, hey, listen, man, if you're serious about it, he was the only guy who wasn't drinking. His own, I mean, this place was huge. Everyone was everyone. He's the only guy that's not drinking. It's just so interesting to me. And so for me, when I got to meet him and we kind of connected in that sense, he was like, hey, listen, man, you know, if you want to change your life and you want, you know, you want the girl left you to regret it, you want, hey, listen, success is the greatest revenge. Follow me. And bro, did I ever follow him? And he became a mentor of mine, and I'm not surprised with all the success he has today.
Did you apply yourself and push to being in that room with him the next day, or the 2 days or 2 weeks after that?
Intentional.
You chased that?
Intentional, Nick.
Okay.
Intentional. I see a book.
That's just in you.
Yeah, I see a book you got over there.
Yeah.
The mama mentality.
Yeah.
And it's intentional. There, you can't be distracted when opportunities are around you. You can't. You know, opportunities are never lost. They're just taken from someone else. And now he gave me a glimpse of an opportunity. All I did was kept showing up and putting a spotlight on me, saying, hey, I'm serious about it. Yeah, I'm serious about it. Hey, I can only pay you for 30 hours of the week. I'll work 80, pay me 30. Call the 50 tuition. It's like, damn, man, I had to separate myself from other people that I didn't have the skill or talent to go toe to toe with. I had to put in the work. I had to sacrifice. I had to drive that hour every single day. And I mean, once there's a certain amount of people in this world that once they see that you or a selected amount of people want it is bad, they'll open doors for you. And because they can connect with you in a sense, you know, because someone was a gatekeeper for them. And he realized that. And I mean, the guy, I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, he's seen something in me that only a few people seen. You know, my mother, my family, my teacher, Mama B. You know, LCTI. Shout out to her. She was amazing. That was a big part of my life. And then there was Tony, and the team, Dan, John. You know, the Fusion team at the time, and they were huge. They were huge for me. And they kept the entrepreneurship motivation. Hey, we're going to be millionaires here. We're millionaires. You know, nobody's doing what we're doing. You know, $5 a month gym. Who's doing this? Dollar signups. And it just felt like the room was electric all over again. Same thing with Ignite. Same thing with Wake Up Now. You win with a group of people that are influctuated and just have that Ray Lewis mindset, Ed Reed mindset. Like, we're gonna win. And if we don't win, it wasn't because of the lack of effort. It wasn't because the group wasn't, you know, we didn't have the right team to win. It just was because another team wanted it better. They wanted it, you know, more than us. They were willing to work harder than us. And at that time, you couldn't tell us anything, Nick. And I felt like I found my family. And from there, man, I learned so much. And when I left there, I took everything that I learned, and it was over, man. It was, when I came back, it was like a man amongst boys. Like I understood how hard one had to hustle, you know, and you have to go through no's before you get your yeses. And man, I mean, I wish I would have met him earlier before I even went to Penn State. I would have traded that because I learned so much in that time I was there. So yeah, shout out to that team over there and doing big things. And I'm not surprised, like I said. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man.
I find it very interesting that you said after Wake Up Now, everything collapsed for you. And that's why I wanted to ask you, from Wake Up Now, was it your intention to then be in the room with Fusion Gyms? And you said yes, right? That shows people that you were down, but you weren't out.
Correct.
You were never out.
Correct.
You were down and you realized, hey, this is some of the hardest moments I'm going through in life.
Correct.
where most people would have just sat there, right? They would have just said like, fuck, I put all my eggs in this basket. This shit just crumbled. Everything's done, right? You never led up the work ethic. You still chased the next meeting,
Yeah.
right? Like you still chased that meeting, and then you got yourself in that door, and you got to experience all of that with Fusion Gyms because you never were down and out. You were just down.
Yeah.
You weren't out.
Yeah.
Right? So you chase that meeting, you go through that stage in your life with Fusion Gyms. What happens with them, and how does that transpire to owning your first business?
Yeah. So I was there with the boys for quite some time, and it got to a point where they were growing. They were growing. They were evolving. They were expanding, and I was doing some traveling, and I did a heart-to-heart with myself. You know, I really wasn't seeing my family like that, and I really did this whole thing, Nick. The reason why I never stopped is because I think about my grandmother. I think about my mom. I think, you know, I don't have, a lot of these guys have options to go back to their family that are successful, massively successful. You know, they got a safe haven to go back to. You know, my family's relying on me to win, you know? So, you know, when I learned what I had to learn, I remembered the team that I had back home, and I had to figure out a way, how can I take these skills and everything that I learned and be able to start our own business? I don't care what we're doing. I don't care if we're selling lighters. I don't care if we're selling lemonade. What are you passionate about? And I promise you, we'll be successful at it. And the first person I came back to was my mother. I mean, I love my mother. I want to see her happy. I want to see her live a taste of success that she's always wanted. And if I can see that in her face at the time, listen, it didn't matter what I was gonna do, I was gonna go do it. So I went back home. I was like, Mom, I learned a lot of cool things here. You know, I'm motivated. What are you really good at? Because I want to be able to start a family business. I want a legacy. I want my own empire. And I remember her, you know, telling me, Papi, I'm not the best at everything, you know? It's the same thing with you, same thing with me. But I can clean a home, and I clean it with love. And when you come here and it smells great. And from there, I took that little seed, and I took the little seeds that I had already in my brain, knowing that I had a friend, that had a mother, that had a cleaning company. So I made it intentional to make a meeting with her so she can teach me everything that she knows. And she told me a little bit about LLCs, and I took those notes. And as I gathered information, I just kept asking more questions. I went on YouTube, and it's funny, I learned how to start my first business from some dude in the hood. It's a YouTube video, and I could probably find it. It'd be really cool to bring it up. Some dude in the hood in the stoop, and I just remember it. So, yo, dude, you want to start a business, you got to call LLC, you got to call the state in Harrisburg. And I did all that, Nick, just step by step, man. And then that's when, you know, it actually didn't work out with my initial business partner, unfortunately. Great person, but that's, I was working at Anytime Fitness, and I was thinking about doing this business of the cleaning company. And that's when Kevin and we reconnected, and, you know, the history, you know, it's history from there. I mean, we took off, and we never looked back.
So I like that you threw that in there, that you said it didn't work out with your original business partner.
Yes.
Right? And then you mentioned Kevin, which is a huge piece to the puzzles and all the pieces you guys have been able to put together. He's your business partner in every business that you have.
Correct.
He's a great human being. He's a great person. And I think the standards and values align between you and him. That's why you guys are able to take this to the levels you've taken it. Right?
Absolutely.
What I want to ask is, did you always know you were going to need a business partner? Because you said, I didn't know that your first business was started with somebody else, right?
Yeah.
But was that something that you're like, I need a business partner? Or can I just do it on my own?
You know, thing is, I didn't learn how to run a successful business by myself. And I think that was a blessing, because I do see a lot of people that run a business by themselves, and I give them all the flowers in the world. You know, because I was never exposed to anything like that. Even back from the Ignite or Wake Up Now, you don't make more money if it's just you. You got to keep recruiting people. It's always about a team. So those roots are deep. So I knew I was always going to have to find the right individuals, but I knew it was going to be extremely difficult to find someone that was just as hungry and wanted to sacrifice and understood why I was doing what I was doing, and understood that even if, we're in business, if you have a toxic girlfriend, that could affect our business. Someone that just understood that, what we're going for and what we're doing and our actions personally could affect things, that we're working on in the future. That's the difficult part about finding a business partner, because you have to trust this person with your baby.
With everything.
Yeah. I mean, you're really co-parenting with this person. It's pretty much what it is, right?
Yeah, with everything.
So, with Kevin, I grew up with Kevin, and it just made all the sense in the world. And I knew that I needed a team. I knew that I needed a team. And I knew that we can be deadly if we can get the right team, and I still feel as passionate on that topic to this day. I'm always looking to recruit and bring people on our team, and be able to, go about our vision. If our vision's aligned, I'm always up for it. I'm not looking for bigger percentages. I'm not looking for none of that stuff. I'm looking for the right people. If you find the right people, the numbers always figure themselves out. So, it's a team. You need a team. That's the only way you can win in this world, is a team.
I think it's great that you had these glimpses, and every time you got a little taste of it, it was always with a team.
Yes.
So then it just kind of transitioned into the moment when you were ready and you understood that, right? To scale a business, you need other people.
Yeah.
Can't scale without other people. So having a trust in other people is huge when running these businesses, as well as being able to train people and coach them, but leading by example.
That's correct.
Right? That's
correct.
one of the biggest things, is like, if you're going to tell me something and you're not doing it yourself, how do I believe you?
That's
right?
correct.
So I've seen this pattern in the businesses you've built.
Yeah.
Where you needed a key player to get into that realm of business.
Correct.
So you found that key player to get into that realm of business. You brought them in. Now they're partners with you and Kevin.
That's correct.
Right?
That's correct.
So before we really get into that, I wanna hear from you. What was it like, that first experience with a business partner that you're like, all right, well, this guy got the same vision I got. Things are going well. And he's also my best friend, right? I'm sure you guys have been through ups and downs together, especially in the first business.
Yeah.
How was that experience starting your first business together? What did you learn? How did you grow? And how do you eventually get from Mr. Green's to Champion Car Wash?
Yeah, I mean, so my mother was our business partner too, and still is. And so being able to be in a room with a couple individuals, no matter what dynamic of level of success you're in, as long as you respect those people in that group, you're always inspired. And I think with us, that was, at least for me personally, I was just excited and inspired to be working with people that I respected and loved. There's people where you tolerate, it's no problem. We've had a lot of jobs where we were at jobs and maybe the coworker was, I don't know, just didn't rub you the right way, but you tolerated this person and you had a level of respect for them because they wore the same badge and brand as you did, right? All right, that's one level of leadership or one level of respect. But when you have and you're dealing with people that you're willing to go through the wall for, I mean, Nick, it's a different feel. It's a different feel, you know what I mean? And I think that's inviting. And I don't know if other individuals have an issue having business partners. They frown upon it. There's no right or wrong, but I just think if someone feels the same way as you, and if we both work on this for an hour and it's equivalent to 2 hours of man hours towards the same vision, I want all the people. Yeah. I want all the people in the world to work on. It doesn't matter what percentage I get. Yeah. We're gonna get there faster, and once we get there, we're gonna be way bigger than we could have gotten there by ourselves, or what we would have had by ourselves, right? So, I mean, team efforts and being able to have a collaboration with the right individuals is essential to anything you do, especially in business.
So, what would you say to that person that says, I would never mix business with friendship? What do you say to that person since, you know,
Sure, they're right.
you're mixing business with friends and family? Why is it different for you?
They're right. I mean, I heard this from Will Smith. He who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. Okay? He who says he can, they're typically going to be right. They probably can't. He who says he can't, they're typically right. They probably can't. You know? So, you know, this whole notion of not being able to work with family members and stuff like that, I think it's just a mixture of mixing your personal life with the best interests of the business. For example, I work with all of my family, to be honest. Maybe there's 2 or 3, you know, that don't really work directly in one of our businesses, but we all work together. And it's not saying that things are always going to be pretty, but I mean, if you're going to have a disagreement, I'd much rather have a disagreement with someone that I respect and love than a random individual that's just here for a job, you know? And as you grow up, you know, working as a family and as a team, you guys realize that it's not personal. You know, I have a lot of respect for my brother, Ricardo. Ricardo is one of the most hardest working people I've ever met. He is my role model. He is, you know, I love him. And he has a beautiful way of looking at life, a way I can't even explain to you because, you know, he works with us in our businesses. And there's times where I'm like, yo, Rico, you know, we can't do this. We got to do this a different way. And I speak to him just like I would speak to another team member with respect, separated. Once we have that conversation, once, you know, 8 o'clock, 8:05 comes, it's a conversation that has nothing to do with what we just spoke about. And you have to know how to divide that. And you have to know that, you know, we're doing, you know, as a family or your best friend, if they have really good intentions, not for you, but for the business, you have to respect that. You know, so you have to be able to divide that and not allow your emotions to get tied in, because sometimes your family members are the most trustworthy people you can run into. And in business, you have to trust. You know, that goes a long way. If you could trust, you can go at 100 miles per hour. But if you're looking at the rear view, you're going to get in a car accident at some point with the wrong people.
Is this the line that you intentionally draw? The line where friendships and businesses can separate? And are you intentional about that when you work with your family or your friends? And is everybody kind of on the same page where it's like, hey, you know, I love that you said until 8 o'clock, 8:05 hits,
Yeah.
and it's like, bro, you're my brother now, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that is the only way that a business, and just any respect, like if you're with whoever is your employee, if you have that line really drawn and intentionally made, then
Yeah.
they can respect you and they can separate the two.
Correct.
I think where businesses do fail that work with friends or family is because they don't intentionally draw that line. They don't make it like, hey guy, you know, let's tone it down a little bit. Remember, we're family,
Yeah.
or we're friends,
Yeah.
and then we're business. So
Correct.
is that something that you were intentional about, or?
Yeah, I mean, because it can make you or break you, right, Nick? I mean, that scenario right there. You know, if someone gets a little bit too comfortable, let's just say at a rush hour, and you know you're working with your brother, and hey, listen, don't talk to me, or you know I'll punch you out like I used to back at Thanksgiving. It can get a little funky, right? You know what I mean? But I think for me, I went through my ups and downs with my family. Like when I tell you I work with my family, I work with my family. I never said not one time like we didn't argue. I never said not one time that, you know, I almost got beat up, you know what I mean? Or we almost got in a fist. I never said that. What I did say though, however, is that when we worked every day, we did what was best for the business. And there was times where I had to hold a certain level of a standard. one that I was maturing into, and they understood that. And then sometimes it was the other shoe around. It was, they were raising me up to a standard that sometimes, I had to separate it being personal from understanding, man, they want what's best for this business. And as you do this, we've been doing it for 10 years. It's natural now. You know what's at stake, and it ain't personal. And there's enough of a sample size to know that if there's a bad service, it wasn't personal, or, we're going to talk afterwards. And there's too much love now that's been built, too much compiled love within our chemistry and our relationship and our bond. Like, we know that the business comes first, but our love that we have for each other is what makes things special. So we have to nurture that. But it takes a level of maturity, right, Nick? Like, everyone has to be on board on this. And I thank God every single day that he gave us the upbringing, the events, and eventually to get us to this mindset like we have right now that allows us to thrive as a family. I mean, it's just, it's a powerhouse, really. And we're excited. And to be honest, you can work with family, but I think that's the separator. It's the standard. And whoever has the highest standard that day, that's the one we have to run with. Because that's the power of the team, right? Because I can be good, Nick, 4 days out of the week. But if I'm by myself on the 5th day, I'm as good as that standard is on the 5th day. When you have a good team, the standard's always high. Because there's always somebody that's going to wake up and say, yo, I don't want to be the gazelle today. I want to be the lion in this team. Angel, are you going to be calling everyone to find out where they're at for the meetings, at the 9:30 meetings? Or Angel, am I going to call you at 9:15 to make sure that you're going to be good? Standard just, started to raise itself up, and, our team, our family, and our close friends, we adopted that. And over time, we realized, man, like, if we're hard on ourselves and we can keep ourselves to that type of standard, no one else can infiltrate. We can only self-implode, So we believe in that, and cool thing is that we're having a great time doing it right now. We're living our best lives, So I love my family, and they deserve these moments that we're having right now, and all the blessings and the moments that we're going to be having in the future.
I agree. I agree. It's well deserved to see the growth. I think, when we're talking about, you say, it's not like you didn't have those arguments. It's not like you didn't have those moments. It's just as time grew, the same argument doesn't hold as much weight as the first time you had it, right?
Correct.
After you have it a couple more times, you start to understand, all right, well, we're still here for a reason, right? So let's keep pushing, right? So these family-rooted standards, right? We can say that. These are family-rooted standards because you started with the family.
That's correct.
Right? These are standards that you've learned along the way and you started to implement into your teams along the way,
That's
into
correct.
your employees, that I feel like those family-rooted standards with those employees that believe and see the same culture eventually has turned these employees into your family.
That's correct.
People that you never met, strangers that you never, people that you just had your little one-on-one with them, you interviewed them, you know what to ask, you know what to look for.
Correct.
But then as they start to follow these values and same standards that you already had with your family,
Correct.
now they're starting to become your family because they're also seeing a vision. They're also seeing a bigger picture.
That's correct.
Right? So I think it's great how you go from Mr. Greens, you start to implement these things, right? Because obviously, bro, you manage 7 businesses at this point. I'd be a fool to not talk about what are your systems and how do you implement these things, because you're not in 7 places at one time,
That's correct.
right?
Correct.
You're I'm sure you check in every spot, but more than that, you've built these teams to really be able to scale these businesses and to say, okay, well, cool. When number 8 comes, we already know the plan. We know the systems. We know how to do it. We can get number 8, 9, 10, 11,
Correct.
12. We can keep going.
Correct.
So what are some of these systems and standards that you've implemented?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you learned a lot with Mr. Greens, but what are some things that you can give to people that helped you really scale and take on more businesses?
Yeah. You can't fake hard work, Nick. No doubt about it. You can't fake hard work. Any business that I've done, Nick, and you know me for a long time, I was on the front line. I was searching for the job that nobody wanted. You know, I'm 7 years deep. Oh, well, no, about 10 years deep into all these businesses, 10 years for the cleaning company. I still clean toilets on a Sunday. I don't got to. I love it though. I don't miss it for the world, brother. There's not one Sunday, man. I love to go and clean. Because if I don't get myself down to the trenches and see the soldiers, how can they ever root for their leader? How can they ever connect with their general? It doesn't make sense. You know, like everyone wants this big, successful business, but they don't want to clean the rims. How many times you see me clean rims, Nick? How many times I clean your rims, Nick?
I was gonna say it, but then I wasn't ready to say it.
Come on, man. You know.
Yep.
You know, I've cleaned many toilets. How many times have I made a bowl for you at Amigos? I don't hide from the hard work. And no matter what degree or what phase I get in my life, I always enjoy being right there, right where the heat's at, right where the fire is at. You know, I don't want to show up, you know, in the business dripped out while everyone's sweating. I want to figure out, you know, if the faucet is broke, and if that's what's giving everyone a hard time right now, everyone step aside. You know, I'm gonna show y'all how to clean some dishes now. You know, and I'm gonna kick y'all butt in it. You know, and they seen that, and they seen it day in and day out. And I enjoy starting businesses and outworking people. That's just what I love it. I love it, man. I love it. You know, like, and you have to put yourself in that position because you have to understand your product. You have to understand what's going on. When they say the heater broke at Champion, it's 37 degrees out. All right, I've been there, so I know that I need to work on this fast. It's a sense of urgency. You're just not putting people in positions like you said, and asking them to do things that you've never done before. People don't respect that, and over time, people will eventually build some type of resentment for you, you know? And I'm super fortunate that I have a very amazing team where I think we're about 150 employees deep, that I could genuinely look you in the eye and tell you that they have a mutual respect for me, you know? And they've all seen me. They have all seen me pick up these positions, be there, you know, Christmas, whether it's Thanksgiving, whether it was my birthday, whether it was your birthday, whether it was a funeral. I'm showing up, man. The hardest days where people would say, this is the best excuse not to go. Oh man, does that shit, man, I apologize, but that gets me going, man. Like that to me tells me this is where people are taking a pit stop along the way. This is why they're not successful. Oh, okay, this is the wall they don't want to climb. I got it, you know? And so I think that's my X factor. And it's allowed me to be successful with these systems, with the procedures. Because when you work it, you know that this is the procedure you need to do this job better because you're doing it yourself. And the team agrees with it. And you build a team that says, hey, listen, we got this, okay? We understand that you have to work in the business for a certain amount of time, but there is a time where you need to step out and work on the business, okay? And every business, you have to be able to know when you have to make that change. And that change happens when you've earned the respect of your team. You work there long enough to understand if something goes wrong, you know what's going on, you worked it before, and you allow these guys to be able to police this organization, this business, and you make them responsible to be able to let you, you know, give you the insight during these meetings that you set up And you know, you gotta make sure that you're checking in on these guys and checking in on these procedures, making sure that the standard's always high. But as long as you got good procedures and you got good standards, there's no issue. You check up on them, you're good to go. So that's how we run all of our businesses. But you got to be a product of the product.
So these procedures that you implement, were these things that you learned on your own? Were these things that you had mentors for? Were these things that you were like, man, we just had a breakthrough today. This is how it has to go. Like, how do you come across those procedures and how do you make them work across such a vast portfolio of businesses, right?
Yeah.
You have a cleaning company.
Yeah.
You have a car wash. You have 2 restaurants.
Correct.
Well, 3 with a new addition, right?
Correct.
Your newest addition. You have a bar.
Correct.
Am I missing something?
I think you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to hard work. I'm watching these cameras. When I'm eating my dinner at my house, I'm going over the cameras. I'm looking over services. I'm looking over when it was a rush hour. I'm seeing how somebody's attitude was. I'm addicted to hard work. I'm gonna figure out the answers. And when these guys realize that, man, this guy's really watching the cameras. Man, this guy, you know, he told me not to be on my phone, and he really did see like the standard is this high. And I don't want to be the only one making these mistakes. Everyone else is frowning upon it. It's almost like they drank the juice. He did drink the juice. And you have enough people that are drinking this juice, they'll police this place to be able to make sure that if something's off, it's almost a sign of disrespect for the team. You know, because I hold people accountable, Nick. If you're working with myself and I'm on my phone, I'm working with you, we're both in trouble. Me for doing it, you for allowing it. That's how teams work. You start playing that game, you know, you get a couple good people like to play that game. Oh man, it's game over, you know? Because Nick, you're not gonna let it rock. You got kids, man.
Yeah.
You know what the rules are, you know? And then when I come down, do I ever act that way? I don't act like that. You know, I don't have my phone. You know, so the standard is always up here. And I think as long as you don't give your team a sample size of BS and anything lower than what you know you should be delivering, you're gonna be great. You're gonna be good, you know, but it's an eye for it. And it's a combination of everything you said. You know, it's through experience, it's through YouTube, it's through going through Dave Bruman, you know what I mean? Mr. Miami, you know, owns all these beautiful, it's a Club Lib, but the standard of hospitality is so high. You know, how Chick-fil-A outsourced their hospitality back in '96 to the Ritz-Carlton. You gotta fall in love with these stories, man. Every story leaves a clue. And if you can just take a couple of these systems that have been working since the day of time for these people, for these Fortune 500 companies, you know, it's not nothing crazy. You implicate it, and you can't expect anything that you don't inspect. So as long as you stay on top of the things that matter, after 30 days, everyone builds a habit. They know they shouldn't be late. You know, they know it takes 30 days to change a team. I can change any team. You got to give me 30 days. And not everyone's going to last. But by the end of those 30 days, you're going to have a culture. And that's the number one thing about a business. That's the number one thing. You need to be able to have a culture. You have a culture, that team will take care of itself.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You're not selling cleaning. You're not selling a car wash. You're not selling the best Mexican bowl or taco or quesadilla you can get. You're not selling a drink.
Correct.
You're selling an experience.
Exactly. You got it, Nick. I mean, you're spot on, man. I mean, you know, you should be over here, to be honest. You get it, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what people want. That's what people want to feel. You know, like, for example, when you were selling cars, you were in the game, right? You didn't get involved in the first dealership ever. It was another dealership in time. What made you guys different was allowing people to feel like they were getting a unique experience through your content, through the culture, through the team. It was like, hey, I don't care if it's Honda, I don't care if it's Bugatti, you guys aren't us, right? So that is very powerful, Nick, you know? And then when you got that belief and you got those standards and you feel like you got something in this room that no one else got, I mean, listen, you can do whatever you put your mind to and your team puts their mind to. So, you know, that's the secret behind everything.
Mr. Green's and Champion Car Wash. There's similarities there, right? It's a cleaning service.
Correct.
Right? You're cleaning something. You can see things overlapping between the businesses.
Correct.
Right. These are your first two businesses you own.
Correct.
Then you get a second car wash, your third business.
That's correct.
Right?
That's correct.
Then we get into a restaurant.
Yes. Yes.
We
Yes.
get into a restaurant.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Curveball.
Completely different, right?
Yes.
I think, because you've always been with me, bro, you've shared everything. You've shared these moments, and I don't even know if when you remember you tell me these things, I'm like, yo, this guy really trusts me because he's telling me everything.
Correct.
He's telling me because obviously there's no malintention between us.
Correct.
I want to see you win just as much as you want to see me win.
Correct.
So there's little things that I remember, for example, when you told me that Amigos was coming, right?
Correct.
That you were opening up Amigos, you were opening up this Mexican restaurant.
Correct.
Right? You said something along the lines of, I had no money to open this.
Correct.
The city opened this for me.
Correct.
I didn't have money to get my produce.
Correct.
I did a
Correct.
net 30 with my produce provider
Correct.
so I can start my business, and 30 days later, I'll be responsible for what I'm paying.
Correct. Yeah.
Can you break just those two things down for me? Break
Yeah.
those two things down and how you were able to make it happen.
So, you know, when you're convinced that something like this is going to work, you're going to try to figure out every option to make it work. And I knew that Allentown needed a Chipotle, an El Jefe, you know, a Mexican fast casual restaurant. Kevin and I, we identified this and we're like, hey, listen, if we bring it, people will come and it will be amazing. But there's a lot of things in between people coming and being amazing and this is a cool idea, you know? And there's a lot of things in between that. And I think that's a big reason why you had me on here, because there's a lot of things in between a lot of people don't see, right? So I want to let everyone know that every business that I've ever started, I never put a single dollar of my personal money into it. I've never went out to the bank and tried to get a loan, put myself in debt. I don't believe in that stuff. If you can do it, if your parents are willing to put, you know, pen to paper and give you all this money with the experience that you have, you know, Godspeed. But that wasn't in my cards. So with Amigos specifically, we were like, okay, all right, so how can we make this happen? We started to look around for a location. Location is number one. And we knew, all right, Hamilton is popping, all right? If I tell you to get at a certain street in Allentown, you may have to think about it, but Hamilton, you know where Hamilton's at. Location. So, you know, we knew location was gonna be big. Now, once we got to the location, we were like, all right, you know, where are we gonna do this? And how is it gonna look 3, 4, 5 years down the line? What other vendors are gonna be coming down here if we build it here? And we luckily got to meet, shout out to Jones on 9th, Meg, and Quill. We had that connection. It's all about working your connections. Meg still is working for the city. She's, you know, she works for the city center, and she showed us a place. And, you know, it was one of those things where it felt right, and they were willing to help. They say, hey, listen, we want a really good operator here. We want someone that is going to be successful. We love your idea. And it was preparation, right? Like we were showing.
Who's they? Who's they? You
City,
said-
City Center Investment Corp.
Okay.
So they're our landlord for Amigos.
Okay.
And they opened a door for us. They really did. They opened a door for us. They said, hey, listen, we have a location here. We'll build this thing out here for you, okay? And we'll support you. We'll support you along the way. You obviously need to put your leg behind it. So, you know, we want to be able to see a pro forma. We want to be able to see a proven concept. We want to taste your food. You know, we want to see how all this is going to transpire. So we started with the smallest and the only opportunity we had, which was they invited us at first. You know, we were entertaining some conversations, and in the middle of negotiations, they had offered us if we wanted to show off the potential food like we were going to have for the grand opening for the gallery. So that's when I was making the calls. I was investing my money into the videos, to the marketing, to that moment. And once that moment was had for the grand opening for the gallery, people started to taste our food, and it was a sample size like, hey, listen, this food is good. People are revolving around it. We need them there. And if they say no, I think we're going to be, SOL, you know? So how can we work with these guys? And, you know, money is everything to a lot of people. But the people that have money, it's not everything. They're looking for the right operators, people with good characters, people the word, trustworthy, all things that money can't buy. So for us, we were like, hey, listen, you know, we don't got the money to put it up, but if you trust in us, you know, we'll make this one of the best decisions you ever made. One of the best. And the thing is, Nick, that once somebody trusts you, whether it's a bank, whether it's your mom on a $100 loan, or whether it's these guys building a $500,000 restaurant for you, you got to be a person of your word. You got to deliver. So when most people would have said, hey, man, this is amazing. You know, they said yes, they're gonna build this place for you. Let's all just celebrate. I'm like, dude, our back's on the corner. You know, the ball's in our court now. You know, we got to get to work. And we didn't have much, man. I mean, we started, it was just me and my girlfriend at the time. Kevin was working different businesses. And for the first 3 or 4 months, it was just me, my girl, and the cook. Just going upstairs, watching the baby. You know, she had a 3-year-old son, Nicholas, which is my world. And you watch him for 8 hours or 5 hours. You know, then we'll switch. You'll watch him to keep the labor down. I mean, like, you know, this is after Mr. Greens. This is after the 2 champions. You know, because you know, what's successful over there is successful over there. But this business is of its own. And if it's going to be successful, it's not going to get the help of other businesses or other sources of income. If this is going to be successful, it has to be able to get on its own 2 feet. And I need to be able to make sure that I'm putting my sweat equity into this project. Because if it doesn't work, Nick, last thing I want to go at night and put my head on a pillow and think is, could it have worked if I would have just did a little bit more work, or if I would have went a little bit harder? And that traveled in my life. I never wanted to feel that. So I just, you know, shout out to my baby mother, Chastity, amazing rock, believed in me, along with my family. But you need a supporting cast like that. You need people to think like you're gonna throw 5 touchdowns. You know what I mean? And I think the confidence of just saying, hey, man, like, all right, the bill's coming in, labor, it's $10,000, right? You got produce that just came in for 3. All right, that's 13. Shoot, man, I only made 8. What am I gonna do, man? And you know, I've had those times where I had to sit down with, you know, my workers and be like, yo, like, I am so sorry. I don't have it, you know? But the beautiful part about putting that sweat equity in there, Nick, is they're like, Don't worry about it. I see you working with me right next to me. You're not even paying yourself. When you got it, you got it, you know, but we're going to win as a team. That was huge. So I got very lucky meeting the right people that were willing to work with me and stuff like that. But, you know, it was never because of a lack of effort. You know, I think a lot of people identified that I was willing to go mountains. And if it wasn't going to work, it wasn't going to work, but I don't lose. Like, I never lose, man. Like, I take, you know, I may fall here and there, but I've never lost, man, on anything that I put my head to. And these guys recognize that, and they're like, hey, listen, let's see if you do lose, you know, and let's go all out. And we went from, you know, having those 3 or 4 months that were very difficult to then now these months, I mean, we're pushing close to 200,000 a month in sales, which is, it's a blessing. It's a mid Chipotle, if you will, you know, for number size. But we're doing well. We're doing well for ourselves. So, and we don't stop. We don't stop. Every single day, you see the stories, you see the post. It's being consistent every single day that would allow you to figure out the answers. The same problems are, and the same questions that you don't know are going to show up the next day. You know, the best way to handle your demons is to turn around and face them at some point.
So hard work is a pattern that no matter what is always there.
Yeah.
It's always stayed with you. You showed and proved it with Amigos when it opens. And I love that you said that you weren't going to let this business fail because you knew that the only way it could fail is if you didn't work.
Correct.
And that's an amazing feeling to have because it takes a lot of trust in other people, obviously, to bring other people in. But at first, it's like, again, this is my baby, my new baby.
Correct.
I'm going to put the hard equity, the sweat equity, the hard work into this one.
Correct.
And I'm going to show and prove that it can be done. So I'm going to work.
Correct.
You know, and it's amazing to lead by that example, to have employees of yours say, hey, I understand you don't have it. We'll figure it out. Just let's keep going.
Yeah.
That's by your leadership. That's by the examples you set that you've been able to build this culture that's transcended in all the businesses you have. Right?
Correct.
So the city believes in you. They give you this opportunity.
Yes.
You show and prove. Is that the reason you were able to open up another Amigos now in Easton?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I want people to understand that, like, things don't go from, like, it doesn't go from 10 to 15 to 20 to 25 to 30, 35 to 40, you know, until you get to 100 or anything like that. It doesn't, like, trickle like that. At least it didn't work like that for us. You know, there was the first 4 months where it was difficult. 5th month, it was difficult. And then month 7, it went from, like, 20,000 to, like, 70,000.
Before you keep going on that, what happened? What changed?
Knowing the customers. Every single customer was coming in. You like the food? Are you sure? Well, you know, and it was one of those things where we were trying to understand the market. You know, we started with chicken and steak. Now we have like 7 different proteins. But everything that we have in our menu, that what we offer at Amigos, there's direct recommendations from the city, from our community, from people that actually eat there. You know, like we were making things for us. So being able to listen to the community when things were good, when things were bad, that's the most important part, getting honest, honest feedback. Second thing is the hospitality. When you walk into Amigos, that's 101. Welcome to Amigos. I mean, you feel it, right? So being able to have our mindset on the experience, the customer experience, that was huge. We got better and better at that every single month. And then, and controlling the reviews. And what I mean by that is huge. I mean, if you look at us, we're about 3,500 reviews in about 2 to 3 years. We're 5-star. You can give me 10 bad 1-star reviews. It's not going to hurt us. Because once you build bricks and bricks and bricks, you know, water balloons isn't going to bring it down necessarily, right? That was intentional too, Nick. So we were speaking to our customers. We were trying to get honest feedback. We were trying to let people know that if you love this, if you love what we're doing here, we need your support. You're the backbone of our business. And we allow people to feel like they were really Amigos. I mean, the name is touching. Because when you walk in there, you felt that. And it takes a little bit we felt it before the community felt it. And what I mean by that is like, everyone, when you go into Amigos, you know you're gonna get that hospitality. You know, the food, whether you like it or not, I don't disagree with you. But what I can agree with you is when you go in there, you feel something different. And we started to feel that before any of our customers started to feel that. And we're like, hey, listen, if we can just treat each other like amigos, like we want to treat our customers, get people's names, welcome everyone, all right? Let people know to have a great day when they're walking out that door. If we have a second, go check on every single table and figure out, you have their names already. So go speak to them like a friend. Once that became a norm, that's the difference. That's when people were like, I'll go for the food, but I'm going there for the experience. Mm-hmm. And the experience, I mean, it's your bread and butter. So we had to figure out how we were gonna master the experience. In those few months, you know, reminiscing and speaking to you, I think that really was the X factor. It wasn't more customers walking, and don't get me wrong, Archer Music Hall came, the Moxie came, Rosa Blanca came. A few of these restaurants came after we were there, but I think people said, hey, listen, I wanna support these guys. And we had a lot of amazing people that just were honest with us, like, yo, this sucked. I love you guys though. And that's what I'm telling you. And you need people like that because these same people came back, you know, and you gotta listen to them, you know? You gotta listen to Joe that's telling you, yo, nobody does Diet Coke no more, do Coke Zero. And next time he came, he couldn't believe there was Coke Zero. He's a customer for life. He was just here today. Double chicken, shout out to Joe. You know these customers, right? They become your friends, and we don't buy from salespeople. We buy from friends, and so we put our thumb onto that, and we said, hey, listen, this is who we are. We don't change it for nobody, no matter how small or how long that line is. Everyone gets treated with the same amount of respect that they came in here and they're expecting, and we take pride in it. And we don't allow anyone to work for us that isn't willing to adopt those traits. So you can go to any Amigos and you get the same type of love no matter where you go.
It's major.
It's big, man.
It's major. The experience is everything, and that's the one thing I can always say. Like, it's funny. I've walked into Amigos, forgot something in my car. I walk into Amigos again. Welcome to Amigos. I'm like, yo, come on, chill. I was just here. Relax. I already felt good the first time. I feel even better.
Nick, you where you got that from? CC's. Welcome to CC's.
Okay.
I used to go to CC's all the time.
Okay.
So I just, those little things, you know, stood out, and like you learn a couple of these things that make you feel special in your experience in life. And like, that's what you want to provide for even with all of your work. You're not looking to just give someone a service. You really want to be able to not just impress them, you want to amaze them, mm-hmm. right? And it comes with all the experiences that you feel that's really cool that would amaze you. And that's all we're doing. We're just putting that in one home. And we have this open table of communication that these guys, they run the show. I don't run the show. If I go there, I gotta speak to my team lead, Angel. If I go there, you know, I gotta go speak to the team lead and see where I fit in. You understand? Because they run the show. Mm. If that's the way you want it. If you want to work there every single day, then you go in there and you go to any position you want if you want to be responsible for running it every day. But if you want these guys to run it themselves, you got to give them the respect that this is their home and you just pay the bills, man. You really work for them.
150 people in.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Do you feel responsible for these people?
Every day, man. I feel responsible right now. Every day. Every decision I make, man, is, you know, I could sit here and raffle off a whole bunch of names of people that, you know, if I make one decision, I could affect them. You know, if I catch a charge or something like that, man, I could really, really damage some of these people and their livelihood. You know, not including just my direct family. I mean, these people are really relying on me to wake up and be me every single day. You know, they don't expect me to show up on the news. They don't expect me to show up belligerent, fighting somebody in the middle of the street. That pressure's on me every single day. but pressure's a privilege. And I have the privilege to be able to be in this position, to show my son, you know, hopefully when he grows up, little Angel, and he's able to see this interview and he's able to see, hey man, like, you know, I am one of those people that, you know, he was doing the stuff that he was doing because I did rely on him as well too. And I want people to rely on me, you know, and I want to be in that position. So every single day, man, there's that pressure, but I get the sense that they're proud of me. And I get the sense that they know I have a lot more to learn and they're banking on it. And all I want to do is just live a life like when I'm an old man, I can be like, I gave it everything that I had. And I'm cool with that. You know, I did everything that I was supposed to do. I didn't cheat nobody, you know, I didn't do wrong by anyone intentionally. I didn't live a nefarious life. And I think, you know, you going from this life to the next, I think it's the acceptance of knowing that you did everything you could in this life. So you accept anything that comes after. And I want to live a life like that, Nick. Like, but I'm proud of myself when I look at myself in the mirror. Man, I did right not just by myself, for myself, but for those 150 people, or for, you know, the thousands and millions of people that are going to be watching your podcast. You know, when they go to look for this advice and stuff like that, they know that, okay, you know, I got to keep doing the right thing. I'm on the right track, even though it's difficult, even though it's hard, even though, you know, I don't want to do it. I am on the right track.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, when it comes to that person that's starting their business, right, that is unaware of all the headaches that come with managing people, is unaware of all the headaches that come with ownership. How do you attack that mental side of the game where you have to maintain yourself in the right headspace, right? Is there like a routine that you follow? Is there something that you do for yourself to be able to say, all right, well, these 150 people are expecting me to be Angel today.
Correct.
But today I don't feel like being Angel today.
Correct.
Right? But then I know you're smart enough that you hit that switch before you walk out the door. And you're like, well, I'm Angel.
Yeah.
Is there certain things that you do in your life that really push that? Because, bro, that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing.
It's a great question. It's a great question. You have to be intentional every day. Like every day, there's a price to success. And every day it changes, Nick. Just like the market. The price, you know, for the market yesterday's price isn't today's price. We hear that all the time, right? But to be successful every day, you got to pay that price and you got to be willing to pay the price. Okay, so there's some days that I wake up and it's not going as smooth as it did when, you know, all my other days that were just smooth like butter were successful. There's days I got to wake up and say, hey, listen, you got to figure this out. You know, I'm behind the 8 ball mentally, you know? And what I do is I try to put myself in a position where I'm going to succeed. So in the morning, I'll try to wake up before the kids wake up, and I'll just try to get that 20 minutes, man, to myself. Let me put some Goggins in, man. You know, let me hear someone that I can identify with that just really, really knows that this sucks, but this is what you have to go through, right? And there's some days that it's like that.
So how do you do that with those 20 minutes that you give yourself in the morning?
Yeah.
Do you listen to do you read a book? What do you do?
So I'm extremely grateful for God. I mean, I have to humble myself and understand that if today I woke up and my right leg was paralyzed or whatever the case might be, that's just what it is. So for me to be able to just wake up and move my hands and be able to speak to you, no matter what's going through in my brain, I have to be fortunate. That's hard. That's hard to tell yourself every day, right? So I try to start with that. And then the second thing is I just try to isolate myself and try to influence my space. The David Goggins. Let me hear Diary of a CEO. I need that in my head 20 minutes, the first 20 minutes before I wake up. If I don't do that, Nick, then I allow the world to dictate how the rest of my day is gonna go. And I know good enough that if you give yourself the first 20 minutes of your day to be intentional, I've been doing this long enough to know that it works. It's not gonna be easy, but it's a block of success that you can put in your head in the morning and allow to block anything else out, you know? And I think it works for me. I think routine is big. And I think you need to find a routine that works for you. And once I feel it and I have it, you know, and I hear what's going on, I mean, I'm gonna bring it, whether I feel it or not. Sometimes I gotta fake it, man. Sometimes you see my energy, it's like, what's up with Angel? That guy's always like, but imagine if Denzel went on to set and he's like, yeah, I ain't feeling it today, man. You know, like, yeah, you know, I stubbed my toe today. You're gonna get this part of me. It's like, all right, that ain't gonna work, bro. You know? Cause like when you wanna be successful, nobody got those type of excuses. Nobody's trying to hear that, you know? Like, so like nobody wants to hear that I'm having a rough day. Maybe just my competitors. You know, but
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you get to a certain level of success too that it's like you're almost like a superhuman, right?
Yeah.
And people that's watching, the moment they see any little slip up,
yeah,
it's like that little slip up
Yeah.
means more than all the success that
Oh,
person
yeah.
just had. So I
sure.
think you get to that point where you know, I think it's beautiful that you're able to put yourself in them 20 minutes in the morning. I can
Have to.
definitely relate.
Have to.
Because we both have younger kids now. You know, I just had
do.
my second baby, and it's like
Congrats, man.
it's like I tell my fiance all the time, like I'm grateful for her long days that she
Yes.
has with the baby right now,
Yes.
because it's tough.
It is.
Because it allows me, her long days allow me to have an early morning.
Correct.
And my early morning, sometimes they start at 4:30 in the morning.
Sure.
That's typically how I start my day.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
By 6 o'clock, I'm in the gym. 6 a.m. I'm in the gym, then I come home at 7:30 to go take my daughter to school and start my day.
Yes.
My gym just got a new sauna put into it, right? Amazing, cool. I get to enjoy 10, 15 minutes in the sauna. The first day I went into the sauna, put my headphones on, I started listening to a David Goggins, listening to a podcast,
Correct.
listening to something. Then you know what I started realizing? I started realizing that my whole day is filled with noise. All day.
Correct.
All day, noise,
Correct.
noise, and it's not bad noise. It's
Correct.
great noise. It's
Correct.
most of the times it's noise that I want to hear. It's things that I'm tuning into.
Correct. Correct.
So what I started doing differently, at least this year, and I feel like it's changed a lot for me, is when I go into that sauna, I don't have anything.
Ooh.
It's just silence,
Ooh.
and it's my 10 to 15 minutes of silence
Ooh.
that help me tackle all the noise I'm about to go through that
I
day.
love that, man.
So I'm literally sitting there by myself, and I'm trying my best not to think of the next idea I got. Trying my best not to think about the other video I want to do,
Stop.
the short films and all that good stuff.
Stop.
But I'm lately finding myself in these 10 to 15 minutes that really, just like you,
Yeah.
they dictate how my whole day is gonna go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's crazy to think, because too much of anything is eventually bad.
of course.
Too much of anything.
Yes.
And I also heard this the other day where there was this guy talking on one of the podcasts I like, Diary CEO or either Modern Wisdom. It's two that I love because they're always intentional with what they put out. And the guy was like, you know, it's great when somebody tackles the gym and goes into the gym and is like, all right, I'm gonna take creatine every day, a pre-workout, and I'm gonna
Sure.
hit the gym and I'm gonna stay consistent with
Sure.
it. Stay
Sure.
consistent with it.
Sure.
Well, at a certain point though, you need to bring your dopamine levels back to a baseline level. Meaning if every morning you're just used to taking a pre-workout, taking creatine and hitting the gym and putting all this music on, eventually you're gonna get in a trance where it's like, bro, why do I need this?
Exactly.
Now I need
exactly.
this, right? Where you think it like, I used to look at that thing like, bro, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm going to the gym, I'm doing my thing. Where he spoke about, he was a doctor, and he was like, yo, you need to try doing that for 5 days a week, great, but take those 2 days and just completely get them out of your life.
Yeah.
Don't listen to loud music for a little bit.
Correct.
Don't take the creatine, don't take the pre-workout.
Correct.
And now you're starting to bring your level back to a baseline
You need that.
dopamine,
You need
right?
that.
because just like you said, man, I feel like it's important for that reset.
Yeah.
It's important for that reset.
Yeah.
So I see you working tremendously hard, but I also see there's moments in your life where you have those little resets.
You have to.
And I appreciate you taking that time for yourself, bro,
Thank you, brother.
because that's only gonna make you come back and be 10 times better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It's a recharge.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
recharge.
Yeah.
And, you mentioned David Goggins, and another thing he said that really stuck with me. Somebody asked him on a podcast, and they were like, "Do you ever take breaks?" He's like, "Yeah, my breaks are when I shower and when I drive to somewhere." And yo, when he
guy's
said
an
that,
animal,
when
man.
he said that,
That
I
guy's
was
an animal,
like, yo, I was like, damn, bro, I take a half an hour drive to get into town every day. That's my break. And
Yeah.
it takes that person
Yeah.
that you look up to and like, damn, this person works hard. And then a question like that everybody can relate to.
Yeah.
Because not everybody can relate to running a 200-mile marathon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
bro,
crazy.
You're another level.
Yeah,
of
that's
do
yeah.
your crazy shit, right? But
Yeah.
everybody can relate to, when do you take your breaks?
That's correct.
And the way he pictured it and the way he said it was
Correct.
like, wow, like we all have that. We all need
Yeah.
that reset. We all need to get back to that baseline levels of dopamine in your body, because
Sure.
too much of anything is eventually going to burn you out. You're
Oh,
not going
yeah.
to be able to be the best Angel you can be.
That's correct.
You're not going to be able to be the
That's
best
correct.
Nick you can be. And I think it's beautiful how you do those 20 minutes in the morning, because, bro, I can relate to that. As we get older, I
Neither,
can
man.
relate to that so
Yeah.
much. So it's amazing that you're still able to put that Angel forward, because, so many people rely on you.
Correct.
Right? So many 150 employees, they all rely
Yeah.
on you to be on your best behavior,
Yeah.
and you're leading by example to set these standards, start these businesses, scale these businesses to open up new doors for you and have all this success. And I know in the future there's so much more success. Now, I wanted to touch on this, where Rosa Blanca is a new acquisition for you guys.
That's correct. That's
Right?
correct. Yes.
And this wasn't a business that you started.
That's correct.
It was a business that was already running, and somehow it falls in your lap, and you guys are the perfect people to run it. How does that happen? Because that's the, out of your 7 businesses, that's the first one that kind of started like that, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, someone has to be lucky. We're just glad that we were lucky. We were in the position to be lucky. And Rosa Blanca was an opportunity for us that we didn't know that we needed. And I say that to say that it allowed us to be able to expand even further from something that we weren't used to doing. We're in the restaurant game, but a fine dining and a Chipotle is as black and white as you can get when it comes to, a restaurant. So with us, again, I mean, we thrive off of challenges. And when Chef Garces, James Beard Award winner, had built Rosa Blanca, we were excited because we were right next door to him. So we're like, hey, listen, this guy's intelligent, he's successful. He wouldn't be building this right next to us if he didn't think the block was where it was gonna go. And then he built Akashi right across the street. So we're like, we definitely know that we're in the right street. Where it's up and coming. We love that. And the thing about playing nice with people is that it always allows you to open, the door's always open for whatever. You never know what the door, So instead of like, it's how you see things. Some people would have been like, man, weren't you a little upset? Like there's another restaurant right next door, competition. I was like, yeah, you're right. Okay, well, that's not how I see it. My right was everything I just told you. Man, this guy just blessed us with all this traffic. This guy's investing right across the street from us. How you see things will allow you to be able to portray yourself, or at least see things from the best angle, at least from how I see it. You always want to be able to play nice, especially in business. You never know when things are going to work itself out. Now, 6 months down the line, we've been playing nice with each other, and he felt confident enough to come and say, hey, Angel, I'm opening up Akashi, okay? And, he has about 5 or 6 different restaurants. He lives in Maine. I need to be able to identify an operator that can come over here in a hospitality group, that can take care of this place and bring it to the level that I want to bring it to. And we discussed, because it's something that, you know, we have to obviously love and be passionate about. After discussing with him, you know, how the Rosa Blanca came about, what's the name of it, what's the definition, what is it? And once we understood, we were very comfortable with, you know, the identity of Rosa Blanca and where it was going to go. It made all the sense in the world, and we struck a deal, and we've been running it ever since November, and it's been a beautiful, beautiful transition, beautiful partnership that we have with Chef Garces and the Garces Group, and we're grateful. We're grateful. It was it's another blessing that we're not taking lightly, and every single day we're putting ourselves in the market, seeing what people want, what type of Cuban sandwiches, what kind of appetizers. It allows us to stay on our toes. And it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. Shout out to Chef Antonio and that whole team for doing wonders. I mean, Frank, Michael, Michaela. I mean, I could sit here until I'm blue in the face. These guys adopted the vision that we had when we first got Rosa in November, and they have taken it and they're going, and I'm excited to see what we have in store for the future. So shout out to Chef Garces for believing in us and seeing something in us in a short amount of period of time since we got to meet.
I think it's great how the first 6 months of Amigos was the test trial, but the test trial where you're learning,
Yes.
right? You're learning, and you're also extremely open to feedback, because I see you guys going through that now. When we met the other day to do some stuff for Rosa Blanca, you're in that stage again.
Yes.
Right? So you're implementing a strategy that worked with a more fast food place, and now you're taking it to a more fine dining experience.
That's correct.
Right? So it's the same concept, and you're just using your community to say, hey, whoa, they were open already, so what was missing?
Correct.
What was missing? How do we fix this problem? I think it's a beautiful business for you guys, because it's the first one of, hey, there's a problem here,
Yeah.
and we're here to fix it. We
Sure.
can confidently say we're gonna fix it.
Yeah.
That opens up the doors to so many things. Now that opens up the doors to, hey, Angel, Kevin, business partners. Hey guys, all right. Well, we saw what you did with this restaurant that wasn't working.
Yeah.
Can you do this with this one?
Like a bar rescue type of thing. Yeah.
Bro, but it's amazing, because it's these standards and things you already had implemented. Now that opportunity fell in your lap, but you still took it.
Yes, that's
Still
correct.
took it. You weren't scared to say, nah, bro, it's not ours.
Yeah.
Let's bring our culture in here and let's make a change.
If not us, then who?
Yeah. So it's I think this is a pivotal moment in your guys' career, because now you're tapping into a whole new world.
Correct.
You've done
Correct.
10 years of starting
Right on.
businesses. Now you're about to start 10 years of changing lives. You're about to start 10 years of helping. It might be that person that knows he got something great and it's just not working because he's missing these elements that you guys have learned and
Correct.
tested over time. And now you guys come in and you save him and all his employees.
Yeah. I mean, we're excited. We're excited for this opportunity. We see it the same way. You know, there's other restaurants that could use some help, you know, and I think this allows us to give everyone a sample size of what our hospitality team could truly do. Because GIG Hospitality is the holding company for all the businesses. So GIG Hospitality is the standard. Now, no matter where GIG is going to go, the standard is always going to be the same in any company that we run, right? So we really wanted to be able to let people know that this is what we do. We have a hospitality group. Not only do we run a few businesses to show you that it works, but we actually run the service as well too. That we can come, and if we feel mutual enough with, you know, the concept, we would love to be able to figure out how we could, you know, allow our services and our hospitality to change your business. So it's something that we're tapping into. It just makes all the sense in the world. We're already doing it, and it allows everyone to see it before they would be of interest or, you know, invest in us in that type of form.
You're 10 years in.
Yeah.
What a long 10 years.
Yeah.
I'd love to ask you the last question that we always ask our guests on this show.
Absolutely.
10 years ago to now, right? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
I I would love to see myself in a place where I'm able to give more. And I say that to say, give more, give more life into people, give more hope into people, being able to be an opportunity to serve more people, being able to make the difference and the change that will never come with me after I'm gone, but will stay here till the test of time. I think I'm downloading right now, and I think in another 10 years, I would love to be in a position where I'm giving back. And everything that I've learned, being able to identify talent, being able to identify hunger, being able to identify the young lions that are next up, that's something that I would love to be able to be a part of. And, you know, we strive to be able to keep building a team and a force full of people. So in 10 years, I hope I'm in a position where I'm able to help. That's all I want to be able to do. I want to be able to do God's work, you know. And I mean, as a business owner, I mean, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit, you know. Personal benefits or personal finances. I mean, you know, I'm chasing the $1 billion. You know, we scratched the M off some time ago. We're going for the B. So from that perspective, that's what keeps me hungry. You know, I'm like, man, there's 1,247 of those, you know, billionaires. Why can't we be next, man? And what is that going to take? What kind of maturing, what kind of learning, what kind of helping is that going to take? So I think that ties all itself into where we see ourselves as a team in 10 years and the impact that once we're there, we will have. So, but hey, from my mouth to God's ears, you know, whatever's for us is for us. And it doesn't matter to me, man. I mean, if tomorrow I'm asking for a bologna sandwich underneath the bridge, I'm just happy, man. I'm eating a bologna sandwich. Whatever God has for me every single day, He has for me. And I'm grateful for whatever He has. I'm grateful for whatever He's given me. And I lived a full life. So, you know, if, you know, God forbid, you know, I'm not able to be here next year for whatever reason, you know, I think I lived my life to the fullest up to this point, and I'm proud of it. And if He gives me 10 more years, man, I mean, you better watch out.
Well, we want to say from us here at the platform, Angel, it was a pleasure having you. It was amazing to be able to share this time with
brother.
you, and I'm
Thank you,
very grateful that you were able to come on the platform.